Welcome back, everyone, to Concussion Sub Series. After 144 years of Test cricket, first time ever, we have a world champion. Ross Taylor of New Zealand has scored the winning runs, and after 46 years of New Zealand becoming or getting a Test status, they are now crowned the world champions. Two absolutely high quality sides and three absolutely high quality resident experts who look very, 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 very disappointed. But hard luck, guys. How was the finals?
मुझे खुशी है कि एटलीस्ट एक प्रॉपर मैच हुआ वेदर के बारिश होने के बावजूद न्यूजीलैंड एब्सोल्युटली डिजर्व टू विन व्हाट कैन यू से आफ्टर 2019 लॉट ऑफ पीपल फेल्ट रियली सॉरी फॉर देम कि वो लोग वर्ल्ड चैंपियंस नहीं बन पाए ओडीआई फॉर्मेट में बट एटलीस्ट टेस्ट में वो बन गए फ्रॉम एन इंडियन फैन पर्सपेक्टिव काफी सारी चीजें हैं जो हमें लगा कि शायद बेटर होती तो ये मैच हम लोग ड्रॉ कर पाते या जीत पाते बट disappointing, but well played New Zealand.
And Vishal, Akash, and Ravi, reactions?
Absolutely. Match worthy of the finals. Went till the last hour, like around 8 with 7 overs or something to spare. New Zealand won it, and but actually it went till the last day to decide who would win because until the last day, as Kane Williamson mentioned in the presentation, all the three results were possible. So that's how it was, and that shows how close the game was. Even though, and it took the last day to decide it. So
New Zealand couldn't have left. New Zealand definitely couldn't have left the shores of England without an ICC trophy, could they? I mean, after that disappointing end which they had in the 50 overs World Cup, they definitely had to get something in the hand before they left England. And fortunately for them, play held up for the entire day today. And it was a good result from a New Zealand perspective. Great camaraderie, by the way, between Kohli and Williamson after the match. It was like two brothers hugging each other. Good to see such scenes after a hard-fought match.
Okay, and Ravi, reactions about the result?
Frustrating, really frustrating to see this kind of batting and pathetic bowling performance. I mean, bowling is okay, but batting is pathetic. I mean, first our tailenders would have not added more than 40 runs in this match. Whereas the last 4 wickets of New Zealand added 84 runs. Imagine that 40 runs would have made a huge difference. Imagine if India were leading by another extra 40 runs, the match would have been much more closer. The match would have been much more tighter also. So, I mean, nobody is having that kind of intent to stay in the wicket. And the way Virat Kohli, Rahane batted today, they are legends of the game. But today, the day where it matters most, they failed.
Yeah, intent, if you speak about intent, I think New Zealand started the final day, needing 8 wickets before they get to bat for 139 runs. I wouldn't question the intent of either team. I think it is just a matter of those small things across the day which teams have done. And unfortunately, Team India body language looked slightly down. And any particular reason, Akash, Vishal, and Sanjay, body language might not have come across as they don't have intent, but I wouldn't question the intent of the teams though.
मुझे लगता है पर्सनली आज का जब दिन शुरू हुआ इंडिया के रियलिस्टिक जीतने के चांसेस बहुत ही नील के बराबर थे मुझे लगता है तो इसीलिए वो दो कंफ्यूज थे कि वेदर वी शुड प्ले आउट टाइम या फिर इन बिटवीन थोड़ा शॉट्स खेलें बिकॉज विराट कोहली भी थोड़ा एजी लग रहे थे वो शॉट मारने वाली गेंद थी नहीं यही फर्स्ट इनिंग्स होता शायद उसको लीव भी कर देते तो शायद मुझे लगता है कि वो थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन था but a difficult wicket to be honest and if I have to pinpoint just one thing which made the difference Ravi is absolutely right our tailenders are completely don't want to say useless but because they're great bowlers but कोई उनका contribution है नहीं ना ही इस मैच में ना ही पीछे भी आप देखें तो बहुत रेयरली कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन है और कोई भी ऑपोजिशन आप देख लीजिए वेस्ट इंडीज से लेके बांग्लादेश से लेके किसी का भी देख लीजिए ऑपोजिशन सबके टेलेंडर्स कोई टेलेंडर्स रहा ही नहीं वर्ल्ड क्रिकेट तो वो जो 30 40 50 रन का डिफरेंस है उसी में पूरा गेम लो स्कोरिंग तो उसी पे चल रहा है वरना अच्छी विकेट हो तो हमारे बैट्समैन ज्यादा रन्स बनाते हैं और आई थिंक आवर बॉलर्स आर आल्सो मोर इफेक्टिव
And Akash and Vishak, I think questions are coming in on the similar topic. So Ajay P can rightly ask, would the result be different? It was a full 5-day game without weather interruptions, including the same 11s.
I think if it was a proper 5-day game, the pitch would have been, as Kohli mentioned, the pitch would have worn out a little bit and the spinners would have come into play. But for that, still, you need to bat better, which the Indians did not do. You need to bat well first for your bowlers to take 20 wickets. If you hit 217 and 170 in 2 innings, you don't expect to win test matches. So the first thing is, we always say that bowlers win test matches by taking 20 wickets, but here it's not the bowler's fault. I would say the batsman failed us in this game, and that's where we lost it. So I don't think after, even if you make it as 217 and 170, even in a 5-day game, if the match had lasted 5 days, I don't think you would win. But definitely one thing I would like to say, that if there was no rain interruptions, I think as Kohli mentioned one point which I would agree. In the first day we were 145 for 3. And if there were no interruptions, maybe we could have carried the momentum and scored even more. So I agree with that point, but interruptions definitely played a part, but no excuses on the batting failures.
Okay. Let's talk about the team combinations. I know that we had a debate preview and also first, second, and third day about our bowling combination. 3 fast bowlers, 2 spinners. Virat should have come in, who would have dropped. But Kohli rightly pointed out, and I think he's absolutely right. With the same combination, we won in West Indies, we won in Australia, and we did pretty well in New Zealand as well, though the results were not great. So, was it just off Test match, unfortunately, for Bumrah, Shami, and Ashwin and Jadeja, or is something really wrong? I don't think there should be a knee-jerk reactions. My point is.
Absolutely.
On hindsight, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so you don't need any knee-jerk reactions. This is a one-off game. And frankly speaking, if we give enough time for batsmen to acclimatize to a particular condition, we need to give the same amount of time to the bowlers as well. It's Duke's ball, it's different. Conditions are different from what you bowl back home. So it's just the first game. You will see a different team when they step in, when they face England in the 5-match series. This was just the first game. I think you should just keep it aside. You should just give credit to New Zealand that they played better cricket. Obviously, they had much more exposure than the Indian team, having played 2 test matches against England. As Vishak mentioned, this is not an excuse for India losing to it, but obviously they had a slight upper hand compared to what India were in before the test match.
Yep. And clearly the 2 test match practice, as we can call for New Zealand, came in very handy. You could see all the bowlers, all the batters, very focused. They exactly know, they had clarity of the thought. That's where Sanjay mentioned that Indians look slightly confused at the start of the day. That's what was showing on the body language. Whereas New Zealand, they were fully warmed up both test matches. They exactly know what to do. And especially I like how their planning and execution is falling in place. If you look at Jadeja's wicket, Wagner, he set him up perfectly well. And even Hotstar or Sky did an excellent analysis of how the wicket was set up. Now, a couple of questions coming through. This is the most awaited one, and it will wake up a lot of Virat Kohli non-fans. What's with Virat and not winning ICC trophies so far? Too much pressure. Let's have an independent discussion, right? Let's not be biased, but is it really fair to put so much pressure on him, or is something really wrong?
Okay, I love Virat Kohli as a batsman. I mean, Virat Kohli as a batsman is a legend for Indian cricket. If anyone has any kind of debate, let them come to me, because Virat Kohli as a batsman is a legend. But as a captain, he's not thinking out of the box. Somewhere down the line, that's where the difference between, like for example, the Wagner wicket, how they trapped Jadeja, that was completely out of the box with what they did. You can't see those kind of ideas coming from Virat Kohli or from the team management. I mean, Virat Kohli as a captain have to think from out of the box if he has to get those ICC trophies or any other trophy that he wants to. Leave it ICC alone.
Okay.
मुझे लगता है इसमें 2-3 चीजें हैं. एक तो विराट कोहली, रवि इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट. टैक्टिकली काफी सारे अगर आप उनके क्लोजली देखेंगे लास्ट 3 साल में, टीम सिलेक्शन से लेके बॉलिंग चेंजेस से लेके बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन मार्क है. बट मुझे लगता है कभी-कभी कैप्टन को थोड़ा लकी भी होना पड़ता है. जैसे टॉस उनके हाथ में नहीं है. ये तो मतलब फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में जो हमने 217 रन बनाए हैं, ये कोई 400 450 के बराबर मेरे हिसाब से था. तो अनलकीली आज वो अच्छा बैटिंग नहीं कर पाए. 2017 में ना ही जस्ट विराट कोहली, रोहित शर्मा सभी बड़े मैचेस में फेल हो रहे हैं, अकेले वो ही नहीं फेल हो रहे हैं. तो एक तो उनका लक नहीं है और टैक्टिकली ही इज नॉट दैट ग्रेट, आई एग्री, बट कोई दूसरा आएगा कितना अच्छा करेगा टैक्टिकली कोई बोल नहीं सकता। अब ब्रिस्बेन में काफी लोग रहाणे से कंपेयर करते हैं, रहाणे ने मेलबर्न में बहुत अच्छा किया, बट बैटिंग वाइज कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है। कौन सा ऐसा प्लेयर है जो इस लेवल में गारंटीड आप कह सकते हैं कि वो हर मैच खेलेगा? आई थिंक इट्स ओनली विराट कोहली। तो लॉजिकली कैप्टन उसी को बनाएंगे हम, बाकी हर प्लेयर पे प्रेशर है। पुजारा से लेके रहाणे से लेके एक मैच कोई खेलता है, 6 मैच नहीं खेलता है। But yes, he's not lucky, and I don't think tactically he's brilliant.
Yeah, for that
I would echo
one thing which I was discussing with Akash today during the match. When the chase was on, the first ball, you could see only 2 slips and a gully. So, like, you're only defending 130, you need to go for wickets. There's no point in controlling runs over there. If you know that the loss is looming over there, loss is a bigger probability. So, at that point of time, you would rather attack and lose the game in 30-35 overs than extending it till the 45th or 50th over. So that attacking intent was not there, and that was definitely a tactical blunder, according to me.
Yeah, and again, a lot of questions coming on intent. I would be shocked if Virat Kohli and crew did not want to win this Test match. I think it just did not work out, unfortunately, and New Zealand were way too good. Now,
it's not about India not going for the win. Okay, it's about the way they applied themselves. See, we are all not international cricketers, but we can see clearly what they applied on the field. Right, the first 1 hour they didn't apply at all. I mean that's what I'm talking about. The intent to stay on the pitch. That's not an intent to win the game. Intent to bat throughout the first 1 hour is important. No? I mean, you cannot just throw out your wicket and play rash shots and get out. That intent of being there, Virat Kohli as a senior batsman, who's a legendary batsman, I should have stayed in that wicket for the first 1 hour. Whatever happens, even if we get 30 runs of the first 1 hour, doesn't matter. We can, with the batting enough of Pant, Virat Kohli, Rahane, and everybody, Jadeja, we could make up for the additional runs in the next 1 hour or in the next session. That would have made the match much more interesting.
Yeah.
इसमें थोड़ा और रैंट कर लेता हूँ सुमन। इसमें इंटेंट तो ठीक है, मतलब ये डिफिकल्ट पिच था सबसे पहला, ये तो मैं कहूँगा। और लोग गैबा का इंटेंट कह रहे हैं। न्यूजीलैंड केम इन दिस गेम एज फेवरेट्स, सो इंडिया वर ऑलरेडी बिहाइंड। एक तो आईपीएल के बाद ये अचानक ये होता, टेस्ट मैच जून में हो रहा है, ये कोई प्रिपरेशन टाइम था हमारे पास, लेकिन कोई प्रिपरेशन हम लोग ने उस तरह से किया नहीं। वन ऑफ टेस्ट मैच, इमेजिन अगर यही मैच हम न्यूजीलैंड में खेलते हैं और 2 मैच सीरीज, आई थिंक यू वुड से कि ये बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस था, वी प्लेड वेल एंड लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस इन द रेस्ट ऑफ द सीरीज। इट्स जस्ट दैट इट सो हैपेंस ये बड़ा फाइनल है और हम हार गए। बट this, if I have to pick 2 things, one I mentioned the lower order batsman, और दूसरा I think बुमराह। I was so disappointed उनकी बॉलिंग से, इतना मतलब डिसअपॉइंटमेंट मुझे नहीं लगता उनके 20-25 मैच जो भी खेले उसमें मैं हुआ होगा। बहुत डिसअपॉइंटिंग उनका बॉलिंग था, ऑल्दो एक कैच भी छूटा बट तब तक गेम चला गया था मेरे हिसाब से।
Yeah, Bumrah definitely had an off match and clearly shows how big a difference he can make when he is informed to the team. Now, let's speak about the fielding. To be fair, New Zealand dropped catches too. Tim Southee dropped 2 crucial catches. So I think that is even Stevens. The biggest difference was bowling, where all the bowlers contributed, and couple of top order batsmen. The difference was Kane Williamson in both innings. Even though we called him slow, I think the contributions were great. And then the third one, as you rightly pointed out earlier, the tail-ender contribution. That first innings, 30-40 runs, probably cost it. That should have at least put India in a better position to attack a little bit more. Also, talking about tactics, it's not about captaincy, but I think Ravi Shastri also needs to take some accountability. Spreading the field when 60-70 odd runs needed and not stopping singles. Probably miss a trick there too, isn't it? We could have stifled the New Zealand batting a little bit more as opposed to giving them easy singles.
Yeah, you could have probably, on the hindsight, you could have thought that, yeah, the target is small and you could have attacked early and as well as in the middle of the thing. But if you look at what, from a Virat Kohli's perspective, thinking perspective, he may not be a tactically good captain, as all the guys mentioned, but with such a small score to defend, you got to see what are the conditions which is available for you and what are the bowlers which are available for you on that particular day. Now, you know that it's going to be a sunny day throughout all the 50 overs, and somehow you have to try and drag it as long as possible to see if you can get some purchase out of the pitch for the spinners in the later part of the game. Had he gone attacking at the beginning itself, and what if there were a few shots here and there in the gaps, and then runs would have started flowing in the first 10 overs, and then you'd have nothing left for the spinners.
Akash, one second. If 135, India is not going to defend. We all know when India got all out, right? Here, what Vishak is also trying to say is, you attack, you try to take the wickets. If we lose by attacking, it's okay, but not by having this kind of field setup where everybody on the field ropes. You put the fight, man. Come on, you can't just keep everybody in the ropes and try to take the wickets, right? What's the point of doing that? It doesn't make sense at all. That's the intent I'm also talking about. What Vishak said was completely right. First over, you have only 2 slips. Let it go. Let it fly past slips, and you go to 6 also. Who cares? But we have the intention to have 4 slips and take the wickets, right? That is much more important. That fight is what missing.
Yeah, I completely understand your views over here, but the point is, you have to think from an Indian captain's perspective as well. It's pretty easy for us to sit and tell here that, okay, you should have had 4 slips, you could have had the ball, swinging and getting the edge and all that stuff. But if you look at the performance of all the bowlers out here, excluding Shami, I don't think anybody was getting any kind of a purchase out there wherein you could have had 3 slips waiting to get a catch out there. It was only Shami who was bowling of his heart out there, and probably he could have got an edge here and there. Other bowlers, it was just the ball was just going straight through. So there's no point in basically having 4 slips out there waiting, thinking that you will get a catch, and probably Litham and Kohli could have got off to a better start as well. It's all about the point of view of, at that particular moment as a captain, what you think, how your team is performing. Maybe he thought that Jadeja and Ashwin could get much more purchase later in the overs rather than with the new ball, what these guys were getting. So it's all about the mindset at the particular moment. Frankly, 135 with the proper field or not proper field was never going to be enough. You had to have 200 to be defended in 50 overs. Nothing less than that.
Yeah, definitely we were run short. Look, definitely a lot of passion, definitely a lot of energy and understandable frustration about we not being called champions. But if you look at the other side of the coin, New Zealand on the other side, outstanding team, right? Attitude, professionalism, skills, and they had to bring their A game, which they absolutely did. So, and from Kane Williamson perspective, Ajay PK mentioned that there are a lot of fans out there. Any words on Kane Williamson captaincy now that we are done with Virat Kohli captaincy? What about Kane?
मुझे लगता है पूरे जो तारे सितारे सब एकदम अलाइन थे केन विलियमसन के लिए. एक तो वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप में वो क्वालिफाई होते नहीं, अगर कोविड नहीं होता ये पूरा जो क्वालिफिकेशन क्राइटेरिया चेंज नहीं होता. दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग. दूसरा, लकीली वो लोग इंग्लैंड में खेल रहे थे, ये प्री प्लान था. ये तो जस्ट बाय लक ऑफ चांस है कि उनको इंग्लैंड में खेलने का मौका मिला. 2 टेस्ट मैच खेले, वो सीरीज भी जीते, यहाँ भी आए. कंडीशन 2 हफ्ते पहले आप देखे पूरा धूप था इंग्लैंड में. दो आगे भी, आज भी अच्छा मौसम है, कल भी अच्छा. इस दौरान एकदम न्यूजीलैंड वाला मौसम है, टॉस भी जीते हैं, सब कुछ एकदम परफेक्ट था उनके लिए. तो आई मीन whatever happens, Kane Williamson, such a nice guy. That's what they say. Nice guys never come first, but बहुत अच्छा, मतलब no one will in India will mind New Zealand winning something as compared to some of the other teams in the world. But New Zealand cricket के लिए imagine 50 लाख की उनकी आबादी है, तो मतलब दिल्ली का 1/4 ही है मुझे लगता है. उसमें इतने इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेटर्स पैदा करना और इतने छोटे से गेम में, वर्ल्ड क्रिकेट में, such a strong team. It's hats off to them. So India हार गई, but ठीक है.
Vishak, BJ Watling final test match, perfect gift for him.
Definitely, he is the most capped wicketkeeper for New Zealand. He has been a fantastic servant of the game for them, and it was a nice bit of farewell for him to go out on a winning note and with a tag as a World Test champion, which is a great thing. And coming to Kane Williamson captaincy, there was one particular instance which I would like to cite today. That is when Shami was batting. He hit a ball off the edge and it went flying down to third man. And the very next ball, he placed a fielder there. And he asked the Saudi to bowl fuller and Shami to target to the leg side. That exactly happened and the ball went straight to the fielder. That was brilliant tactical captaincy. So many people criticized this captaincy after the first test at Lords. That I think both Root and Williamson were ordinary in that test, and both were criticized. But in this test, his captaincy was brilliant, and his batting also. As I had mentioned, he'll be the most critical player in the preview. He proved it, and he was the turning point at the end of the day. In the first innings as well, that 49 was pretty crucial and ensured that gave the lead. And now he scored that crucial 50 and ensured that there was no setback. And Ross Taylor could play his natural game at the other end and ensured that there were no hiccups.
Okay. And Kyle Jamieson, royally deserving man of the match.
Absolutely. The way he was setting up the batsman, especially the Virat Kohli wicket or even Pant's wicket in the first innings, it was brilliant. I think that guy is a talent to watch out for. That he doesn't bowl in express speed like 140 or 145, 150. He's around 130, 135, 136 times. But still he maintains, he makes sure that he doesn't throw all the cards at a time. He makes sure that he sets up the batsman, at least for an over, then he takes the wicket. I think that guy is a player to watch out for. Most impressive performance of this match. Deservingly man of the match also.
Very well. And I think Ross Taylor probably also is a deserving player, very, very seasoned for New Zealand. He did mention in one of the interviews that he would have retired if 2019 World Cup New Zealand would have won. Very, very satisfying. And like he mentions, is still sinking in. Any words for Ross Taylor and his contributions to Kiwis?
Absolutely. I mean, Ross Taylor has been one of the backbones for the New Zealand cricket in the last few years. And the moment he came out to bat today, I started getting memories of Sri Lanka's Jayawardene and Sangakkara finishing off the target in the T20 World Cup. I knew that these two are definitely going to put their best effort out there and try and not make sure that nobody else comes in, have to bat and struggle out there. Brilliant from both of them. And Ross Taylor and Kane Williamson, they have this one championship in their hands, which they're never going to let off. So by the time they retire, they know that they were the champions at something at least. So well done to both of them.
Yeah, that's the thing with New Zealand. As much as, yes, we are upset India didn't win, but it's not grudge that New Zealand has won. We still feel that they are deserving. I think that's the beauty of the side they have. Parting thoughts, looking back, did Ravi Shastri make sense saying there should have been best of 3 finals as opposed to 1?
So
if India had won, he would have not said that. But
that is true.
मुझे लगता है ये I mean to be brutally honest, जो वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप फाइनल है, इसका कोई भी मैकेनिज्म निकालिए, there would be something or the other which people will think is not the right format. Because ये 5 दिन का टेस्ट मैच है, आप इसको कोई और तरीका कोई भी आप निकाल लीजिए, कुछ ना कुछ में फ्लॉ होगा ही. तो आज नहीं 2 साल बाद भी जब होगा तो लोग इसको उतना ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं देंगे और इसीलिए लोग कि इसको सीरीज बना के खेलिए. 1 महीना किसी के पास टाइम नहीं है, कोई ऐसे एडहॉक सीरीज कोई न्यूट्रल कंट्री में जाके खेल नहीं सकता. तो रवि शास्त्री हैज सम पॉइंट, बट एनी ऑर्डर ऑफ प्रेफरेंस you have for a World Test Championship finals will have something or the other flawed criteria in it. So इसका कोई straightforward answer नहीं है.
And what would you tell the team if you were Ravi Shastri? I think the formula is simple. He would just tell the team they've done a fantastic job for 2 years, which he mentioned earlier. I don't think he would have any complaints looking back, and frankly, he should not. The team has done outstandingly well. We won overseas victories. We were test number 1. We got to the final. So I think nothing but praise. Yeah, it sucks that we did not win the final. Hopefully we learn from it, and England tour, if we win that series, hopefully that will be the icing on the cake. Do you guys agree or any other opinions on it?
Absolutely. Because when World Test Championship started, because nobody thought India and New Zealand would come to finals, first of all, because Australia and England were at the peak of the test powers in 2018, if you see. When the Ashes happened, Stokes was playing brilliantly. Nobody would have given chance for New Zealand to even come to the finals, especially. I don't think so. Any of 5 of us would have thought New Zealand would be the finals of World Test Championship. India is deserving there. They did very well, except for the New Zealand tour. Australia, we did very well, and all those things is said and done. We have come this far. It's not easy to play 2 years of test matches and come to a finals, and that's why India is much more deserving here. And one-off game. Anyways, this game, as an passionate Indian fan, I wanted India to win, but one-off game, it's okay. So we move on to next series. That's all.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but at least we had a result, and the deserving team won. Like we all agree unanimously. I think New Zealand are thoroughly deserving, and hopefully England series will come through, and we will definitely be much happier gang from then. Any final thoughts from World Test Championship? Any fond memories you remember?
तो ये 2 साल के जो वेस्ट वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप का जो साइकिल था, इसमें आज जो हुआ, इस मैच में हम क्वालिफाई करते नहीं करते, दैट ब्रिस्बेन विन एंड दैट सीरीज विन इज मच मोर देन व्हाट वी विल हैव इन द नेक्स्ट 30-40 इयर्स प्रोबब्ली. तो ये तो ठीक है, मतलब वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप फाइनल वन ऑफ मैच है. ये मेरे ख्याल से इंडिया अगर जिस तरीके से इसको इम्पोर्टेंस देती है टेस्ट मैच को, आई थिंक एवरी सेकंड थर्ड फोर्थ ईयर जो भी every 2 years we have this final. I think we will probably play 3 or 4 finals in the next 20 years. अगर ये चलता है तो, so I'm not disappointed. We've had lots of great memories from the 2018, but Brisbane obviously stands out.
And one more good thing is we won 5 out of the 6 series we played in this Test Championship, and we ended up on the top of the table. So that's actually a positive. Just one loss in this final doesn't make us a bad side. We are actually a good side, but it actually hurts that we didn't win the Test Championship. But there's lots of positive going into this, going into the next series, which is against England, which would I think would count against the next Test Championship. So it's time to move on, focus on that, and start winning more matches, and continue the good work whatever we have been doing so far.
On that positive note, India is also starting to get more and more vaccinations. So that is good sign. India is also starting to open up, unlocking, so on and so forth, which is great news. But word of caution, please continue to maintain social distancing rules, wear masks, and if you're not vaccinated, please, first available opportunity, get vaccinated. And last but not least, thank you so much for joining us for all the review sessions, whatever we have been doing. All your comments and feedbacks, we do read every single one of them. When you do get a chance, just click on that subscribe button or share or tell a friend that we do exist and we talk about cricket and we do a lot of analysis. So until next time, which is pretty soon, lots of cricket coming in rest of the June and July. See you later. Vishak, Sanjay, Ravi, Akash. Ultra disappointing, but guys, let's buck up and more cricket to come. Congratulations, New Zealand.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye.